trusted news source, ABC6 News at noon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Our top story today at noon, due in court. The first of the suspects arrested after violence on the Block Island Ferry and on the island itself appeared before a judge this morning. ABC6 News reporter Natalie Norrie joins us live outside the courthouse with the new details that we've learned. Natalie.
Hi, Doreen. We're outside the Washington County Courthouse right now, where earlier today, 3 of the men who were involved in the violence that took place on Block Island appeared before a judge. It was Miguel Silva and Michael Carvalho who were arrested for disorderly conduct on the Block Island Ferry. They pled not guilty. And Jacob Dorber, who was also arrested for disorderly conduct in the fight at Ballard's earlier in the day, also pled not guilty. State police read the report today, stating a witness tells them there was a possible knife and firearm on board at the time of the fight.
One of the biggest challenges when it comes to
now, all 3 of the men today were released on a $1,000 personal recognizance and are expected to be back in court here on August 31st. For now, reporting live in Wakefield, Natalie Norrie, ABC6 News.
Live look outside with our sky cam. We started off this day with some rain. Now we've got lots of clouds in the sky. Chelsea is standing by with your forecast. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey, Doreen. We're looking at a lot of clouds outside right now. We did have some rain falling early this morning. At this point, though, besides a few spotty sprinkles or 2, we're going to stay pretty dry for the remainder of the day. We're mostly cloudy. Temps are in the low to mid 70s range with a breeze coming in out of the north. A couple spots farther north and farther off to the west. A little bit warmer into the mid to upper 70s, but all of us cooler than average outside for this time of year and almost 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. Now, at the moment on your satellite radar image, you can see the majority of us are rain free. We need the rain. The light rain that we had this morning isn't going to cut it. Of course, we'll take whatever we can get. We do still have a few sprinkles, especially out towards the coastline, out over the islands as we head into the afternoon. You may get a few wraparound little spot showers at times. Otherwise, all of that heavy rain staying offshore and eventually lifting well to our north. Those temperatures hover well below average outside today. Overnight, we stay mostly cloudy. Into tomorrow, though, those temperatures will start to climb, and I have warmer, more humid air in the 7-day forecast building into the coming days. I also have another chance of rain. I'll have much more in just a few minutes. Doreen?
All right, Chelsea, thank you. Now news new at noon today. Massachusetts State Police say a Taunton man will be charged with OUI in a fatal crash. This photo shows the victim's car crushed. 29-year-old Devin Arroyo is accused of veering into the northbound lane on 495 and hitting this car just after midnight. It was then rear-ended by a tractor trailer who couldn't stop, driven by a 41-year-old man from Providence. And now to today's other headlines. State police are back out searching the waters off Martha's Vineyard today for 21-year-old Tavon Bolgen. He's been missing since Sunday night when he jumped off the Jaws Bridge in Edgartown. Conditions today won't allow for dive operations, but they will be using ATVs and conducting aerial searches. The body of his brother, 26-year-old Tavares, was recovered Monday morning. The siblings are from Jamaica, spending the summer working at a restaurant on the island. And we're hearing from the family of a 77-year-old Providence man who died while trying to walk across a drawbridge in Wisconsin. Richard Dujardin and his wife Rosemarie were vacationing in Milwaukee. On Monday, Richard was crossing a drawbridge when it suddenly began to rise when he was just halfway across. He tried to hang on to a railing but fell to his death. In the face of tragedy, his kids remembering the things they loved about their dad.
You know, a free meal at Denny's, or he loved traveling.
And he really loved my mom. So I said the last thing he said to me was that my mom was a hero.
I'm a dad too, and I try to be like my own father.
Authorities believe Dujardin didn't notice the bridge's lights and bells going off, saying he was hard of hearing and was looking at an iPad while walking. Dujardin was a reporter at the Providence Journal for 47 years. One man sent to the hospital after a fire in Providence just after 11:30 last night. The fire broke out on the first floor of a multi-unit home there. Providence Fire tells us the fire started in a bedroom in the back of the house. The man inhaled an excessive amount of smoke and was taken to Rhode Island Hospital. We are getting you ready for back to school, and the topic of school security, as always, front and center as we begin a new school year. It certainly was a difficult year for schools across the country last year, most notably the tragedy at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. Here at home, Woonsocket schools dealt with issues too. Arrests made after threats at the middle school in December. More arrests after a fight in March at the high school. That led to multiple lockdowns. We sat down with Superintendent Dr. Patrick McGee, who tells us that in dealing and hopefully preventing these issues, he says one thing in particular is making things a lot more difficult these days than in years past.
One of the biggest challenges when it comes to students, not getting along, or student fights or things like that, has been social media. And social media has been around, unfortunately, for a good number of years, but 20 years ago, we didn't have to deal with that. If there was an issue that a student had with another student, they dealt with it. Now it's just constant. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where they're constantly communicating with one another, through social media negatively.
In part two of our sit down, Dr. McGee tells us how Woonsocket schools are leading the way in teen mental health first aid, becoming the only school in the state to offer it. That's tomorrow on Good Morning Providence. Local officials gathered for a ribbon cutting ceremony outside the new Attleboro High School yesterday. The $260 million project has been in the works for years to replace the 60-year-old building. The new facility will offer our full Voc Tech program, such as culinary and cosmetology, new outdoor fields, plus a state-of-the-art auditorium.
This Attleboro High School is so much more than the shiny new school towering impressively before us. It is a monument to the community's commitment to its children and a beacon of our faith in a future we are all striving to create for them.
The school opens in a few weeks. Construction will last into 2023. An open house for the community is also set for September 24th. Still to come here on ABC6 News at noon, in a race seen as a barometer of where Republicans stand on former President Trump, Liz Chaney loses in the Wyoming primary, where she says she'll go next. And later, a little leaguer suffers critical injuries after falling from a bunk bed. How his team is dealing with the aftermath. Now to the critical primary races in Wyoming and Alaska and how they're shaping politics going into the midterms. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
A crushing defeat for Representative Liz Chaney in Wyoming Tuesday.
Tonight, Harriet Hageman has received the most votes in this primary. She won. I called her to concede the race. This primary election is over, but now the real work begins.
But the loss to Trump-backed Harriet Hageman came as no surprise. Chaney, the vice chair of the House January 6th committee, has been one of the former president's most outspoken Republican critics. Wyoming is the state Trump won by his biggest margin.
No House seat, no office in this land is more important than the principles that we are all sworn to protect. And I well understood the potential political consequences of abiding by my duty.
Winner Harriet Hageman became the front runner when Donald Trump endorsed her. She once criticized the former president, but now repeats the lie that the 2020 election was stolen. And when she won, she thanked him.
We were all very grateful to President Trump.
Chaney saying she's considering a presidential run in an interview with NBC.
It is something that I'm thinking about, and I'll make a decision in the coming month.
Meantime, Alaska with two major races, another big Trump critic, Senator Lisa Murkowski, who voted to convict him in his impeachment trial, advancing on to the general election. Murkowski addressing voters before the polls closed.
I keep reminding folks, it's about us as Alaskans. It's not necessarily about party, but it's about us and Alaskans and our future.
Sarah Palin also moving forward in the race for Alaska's single House seat. She has been endorsed by Donald Trump. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Still to come here on ABC6 News at noon, the return of supersonic air travel. Details on the big investment into the jets. Plus, a look at new solar-powered headphones from Adidas, how much they'll cost you to try out. Consumer alert today. General Motors is recalling hundreds of thousands of cars because of seatbelt issues. Here's which models the recall affects. 2021 and 2022 Cadillac Escalades, Chevy Suburbans, Tahoes, and GMC Yukons all have a problem with the seatbelt buckles in their third row seats, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. More than 485,000 cars are part of this recall. No accidents have been reported from the issue yet. New signs of the return of supersonic commercial flights. American Airlines has ordered 20 of the ultra-high-speed jets. The deal with Boom Supersonic hopes to have the planes ready to fly by 2029. Boom struck a deal with United last year. And Lyft and car company Motional are rolling out a new fleet of driverless electric vehicles in Las Vegas. The ride-sharing company is planning to launch fully driverless service in the city next year. They've been testing autonomous ride-sharing in Las Vegas since 2018. Eventually, they plan to offer the service nationwide. And the new solar-powered wireless headphones from Adidas. They can be charged with any light source, natural or artificial, and they provide 80 hours of playback time. They're available next week for about $230.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
Well, out there very early this morning, we had some widespread but light rain showers falling across southern New England over the course of the morning. That rain has become much more spotty, much more scattered. There's a couple little sprinkles still showing up for our coastal locations, but all in all, most of this rain did stay offshore as that low system stayed offshore. We talked about that yesterday. Depending how close that low got to us would depend on how much rain we got, and with it staying far enough offshore, the heaviest of rainfall totals ending up off the coastline. Some of that rain impacting coastal Rhode Island and inland spots as well. Some light showers here in the Providence area with moderate drought conditions to extreme drought conditions across the majority of southern New England. Any rain is good rain. Outside of Block Island, certainly not our best looking beach day. A lot of clouds in place, still some sprinkles at times. If you are getting in the water for our area beaches today, there's a moderate to high rip current risk as that low system sits just offshore, so keep that in mind. Temps are in the low to mid 70s range at the moment. 74 in Providence, 71 in Newport, 72 in Westerly. Yesterday we made it into the low to even mid 80s range for some of our inland spots, which is seasonable for this time of year. And today we're running about 10 degrees cooler than that. So certainly a cool, cloudy and damp day at times, although again, we're not talking about a soaker here. You're looking at the breeze picking up out of the north to the northeast, 5 to 15 miles per hour with some gusts showing up for far eastern Mass up in Norwood, 20 mile per hour wind gust, Worcester, 20 mile per hour wind gust. And that breeze from the north continues to leave us with a somewhat comfortable feel. Most of us have dew points in the upper 50s and low 60s. Again, it's cloudy and cool. Now, the cool temperatures today are the only day with cool temperatures. By tomorrow, we're into the low to even mid 80s, and we're going to hover in the mid to upper 80s as we head through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with our humidity levels coming up as well. That's as this low pressure system starts to pull away from us. You can see just offshore some very heavy rain, some of that now rotating into parts of Maine and northern New England. We are still going to see some clouds rotating around, some little sprinkles rotating around, but that low is going to continue to pull towards the north and east of us, and eventually we do get back into some sunshine. Now, as we head through the rest of the day today, a couple little sprinkles at times. For the most part, we continue to dry out. Overnight stays mostly cloudy, and tomorrow that low still sits just to our north. So inland spots still get some clouds at times. Many of us get into sunshine, though, as we head into tomorrow afternoon especially, and we'll be back to full sunshine for Friday with those temperatures again in the mid to upper 80s range, feeling a bit more muggy as we head over the course of the weekend. Low to mid 70s outside today. It's a mostly cloudy day. I still can't rule out a few little sprinkles, but no steady rain in our forecast. The breeze continues to pick up out of the north. Tonight stays mostly cloudy. The rain completely comes to an end. Temperatures in the low 60s by tomorrow morning with a breeze out of the west. And then tomorrow we're back into the low 80s range. Expect a mix of sun and clouds. Average high is 82 degrees. So we're talking about some seasonable temperatures outside for tomorrow afternoon. As we head into Friday, you're looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 80s range, mid to upper 80s range again on Saturday, staying much warmer as we head through the weekend. Certainly not the heat that we were feeling earlier this month, but much warmer than where we've been at today.
Getting that rain this morning, you were joking this morning, you had to find your raincoat and dig it out.
Find it. Yeah. I know. We haven't had to use it in so long. And again, we're not talking about a soaker.
No.
We're running at more than a 5-inch deficit. We need a soaking rain. Yes. But that being said, we'll take what we can get.
We'll wait and we'll appreciate what we get.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. All right, Chelsea. Thank you. Well, the Rhode Island primary is less than a month away now. What will the next governor be doing to ensure the well-being of our youngest children? Children's Friend and Right from the Start campaign teaming up with us here at ABC6 to ask the candidates about issues impacting our kids. I'll be moderating this event. It's coming up next Tuesday, August 23rd. If you'd like to be a part of it in person or virtually, details to register are on our website. That's ABC6.com. And still to come here on the news at noon, a little leaguer suffers critical injuries after falling from a bunk bed. How his team is dealing with the aftermath. A Little League team from Utah has made it all the way to the World Series in Pennsylvania, but they are missing a key player after a very serious accident. ABC's Derek Dennis has the story.
This morning from Triumph,
the Snow Canyon Little League All-Stars heading to Williamsport.
To near tragedy for this Little League player. Easton Oliverson, the Snow Canyon, Utah Little League team's starting left fielder, badly injured when he fell 6 feet off a bunk bed Sunday night while staying with the team in Williamsport, Pennsylvania for the Little League World Series. Easton was rushed to a hospital with a skull fracture, undergoing surgery to reduce swelling on his brain, but he is communicating.
He had a friend call Easton and talk to him. A lot of people are pulling and praying for him.
Head coach Mark Entz says Easton and his dad, who's also an assistant coach of the team, want the young ball players to carry on and go all the way while he recovers.
He made it a point to say, we want you guys to focus on the baseball part and not worry too much about Easton when we're doing that. But yeah, to continue on why we're here and keep the baseball going.
The Snow Canyon Little Leaguers are the first Utah team to make it to the Little League World Series, one of just 10 teams to make it this year. They've already had 2 come from behind wins at the regionals, so they're used to adversity.
When you think about the numbers, it's crazy. With all of the Little League teams and then only 10 from the U.S. being here, it's surreal.
Talked about that with the kids, about bending and not breaking. Resiliency is one word to describe these guys.
The team plays on Friday and will practice every day until then. While they cheer on Easton in his recovery, Easton and his family will cheer them on. Derek Dennis, ABC News, New York.
And still to come here on ABC6 News at noon. Feeling ready for fall? Duncan is. Details on the pumpkin products now out. Plus, Chelsea has another look at your afternoon forecast right after this. All right, it's still summer, but it's fall at Dunkin'. Pumpkin products are back, including its pumpkin spice latte, pumpkin cream cold brew, and a brand new nutty pumpkin coffee, as well as a glazed pumpkin cake donut, pumpkin munchkins, and pumpkin muffins. Lots to choose from. And while we're talking about sweets, the Girl Scouts have a new cookie in the lineup. Raspberry Rally is described as a sister cookie to Thin Mints. It's infused with raspberry flavor instead of the mint and dipped in that same chocolate coating. Raspberry Rally will be the first Girl Scout cookie available only for online purchases and delivery directly to homes. A local Girl Scout will place the order for you online. We tried them this morning on Good Morning Providence. Rave reviews.
Yes. I'm a big fan of chocolate raspberry
Yes.
anyways, and that just hit the spot. It was really good.
Really good.
Yeah,
I feel
liked
like they're going to be the next big hit for the Girl Scouts.
so.
Put them in the freezer, buy a box for now,
good.
save one for later, just like Thin Mints.
Good. I know. I said it this morning. The worst part is that we got to try them today,
Yes.
and now we have to wait till regular Girl Scout cookie season.
It's about building momentum for Girl Scout cookie
Well, we
season.
will do that. We can get that done.
Buy early and often.
Okay, there you go. You'll be ready to go when we finally get that order for. We are looking at mostly cloudy conditions outside for the rest of the day today. On the cooler side of things, can't rule out a few sprinkles, but from here we continue to dry out and we warm up for the weekend.
All right, Chelsea, thanks, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. The news continues. First to Sewer. Have a great day, everybody.
This is Southern New England's trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
Children at risk.